guys were into it, but I think, you can just see where we're, clearly we're not where we got to be. Thought, defense did a good job of creating some turnovers. And you just got to learn to keep playing through, some adversity offensively. But, I like a lot of the things that guys are doing, and yet still got a lot of work to do.
It looked like you guys had quite a few pre-snap penalties. I mean, is that just communication, or what was going on there?
Yeah, I mean, I think, on two of them, our receiver kind of was thinking he thought he was doing the right thing, and on one he swears he, looked at the official. He was supposed to be on the ball. So those are things, good things to just work through and make sure. A couple of other ones, I think they're the right calls. I'd be interested to see the one where he it was the second time. But that's all right, and I like it. And then how do you deal with that adversity? And a couple of them were on first down. You still got 3 downs. But you got to go earn it. I thought, a couple of situations you put guys into, and I think took it. Each group took advantage of it. Defensively, offense is backed up, and able to create a turnover. Those can be big plays in a game. So it's all good, and whatever side you want to be on, you won.
There's some pad popping out there. I think Chryst had a nice one on.
Did. There was a few. I thought Eric's made a nice open field tackle. You're right. Freeze jumped in. Todd had one. Guys are starting to, how this week, guys, it got a little bit more physical, and that was good to see.
Is that one of those tough things? Looked like the first group was having a tough time running the football, but at the same time, the defensive line was making it tough for him. Is that tough for you as a coach, like seeing one area do good and another?
No, it's not. And it's I think that we think that we got a chance to have some pretty good inside guys, and what a great challenge, which is an opportunity. Keep going better, getting better, and there's a couple times this week where Gabe executes, and if you're executing against pretty good players, that should give you confidence. Now, are you doing it all the time? No, you got to keep working at it, and so I think you can kind of go, you can kind of measure it in different ways, and a lot of guys, there's certain phases to it, it's just something simple as a block, are you getting you're coming off the ball, you're getting your hands inside, where's your pad level, and it may not all be there, but you can see progress, and so, that's why it sounds like a broken record, but, we're getting better, not where we want to be. It's something like that, maybe we're getting, better hand placement, maybe we're getting a little bit better pad level, but we're not trusting it when you're not coming off. That's just one example, but, I think of this week, guys, came to each practice, with a purpose, and I think if you do that, you got a chance to get better, and I thought we did a little bit this week.
I think Desmond had a lot of work today with the other two guys.
Yeah, they did. Croc's leg was bothering him a little bit yesterday, and tried to go, and you appreciate that, and they did get work, and I think they, guys like that. They like going, especially in when you get as much scrimmage where it's, there's winners and losers, and competitors like that. So that part you like seeing. And then there's some, we were talking about physical. I thought Isaac had a couple physical runs. And I thought Desmond had a couple of really good effort runs. So, if you play enough snaps, you're going to have, some good things to build on, and certainly a lot of things you got to clean up.
Desmond take advantage of that opportunity?
I thought so. I thought so.
When you're looking at the two quarterbacks, how much differentiation is there between play calls for Tom versus Chad? Chad a little more mobile, whereas Tom.
Yeah, I think a lot of Tom's running, was kind of getting out of something, kind of as it broke down, and I think Tommy's getting better at moving within the pocket. Certainly their movement's different, but play call, I think you feel right now that, I don't get the sense that we have to hold back for Chad, but and some of it's, who's in there, the receivers, what can they kind of, you still, and that's the thing we were talking about earlier. You still got to have the scrimmage is probably the most competitive you'll be in, in a setting. And you still got some stuff you want to work on, so there's a couple things where we feel like, okay, we're making pretty good headway. We've gotten enough reps, guys have an understanding of it, but let's move on, so you don't get stuck just running things that are only good versus, maybe what the other side's doing. I think you can approach that offensively and defensively. You got to just be smart there. So, just kind of work in progress, but it's fun.
Is there a chance Shell could be added for you in this spring?
All right, thank you. Coach, thank you for your time.